Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is your brother Dargabar with another Romans 11 lesson. Lord willing, that's edifying through the Spirit. But first, I want to give all praises to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the Most High God, and Yahweh Shai is who the world innately calls Jesus Christ. The Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit, which is in the Paleo Hebrew. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elder prophets who rule well through the Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing, the Most High can continue to put it in their spirit to endure and be sincere in His ministry. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth, teaching His word and believing His word. Lord willing, they can continue in the same spirit, pursuing to be sincere and enduring to the end. Shalom to the Akwatiyam that are believers of His word. Lord willing, you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. The last verse that we probably, I believe we went into was Romans 11 and 19. I believe so. So now, let me just read 19, and then we gonna go back to the points to finish this off. So Romans chapter 11, verse 19. Thou wilt say then, the branches which were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Right? Now let's go up to verse 12. It says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fulfillment? Because in the next verse, it was going to make the salvation was given to the Gentiles. Talking about that Yahweh Shai, right? The faith in Yahweh Shai was given to the Gentiles because some of the Jews didn't want to hearken. That's why Yahweh Shai was establishing the apostleship. Because eventually, when Yahweh Shai go, He was going to send them to a flock that wasn't there. Because first, Yahweh Shai was sent to only the Jews. But of course, the rest of this ministry is to bring back the two sticks, the southern and northern kingdom, right? Now, dropping down, let me just read it in the NLT, and then we're going to drop down to 31. It says, now if the Gentiles were enriched, because the people of Israel turned down the Most High offer of salvation. Talking about the Jews, right? The Jews turned down the salvation. Only a few. Really talking about the disciples that follow and some of the women, right? Think how much greater a blessing the world will share when they finally accept it, right? How great is that going to be? And right now, we see the masses of Israel growing, right? Of course, I follow a great millstone that bring forth 100% of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai's ministry, regardless if you accept it or not. But the elect is scattered in a mixture of all these congregations, because it's going to be the fulfillment of prophecies, which is going to cause some people probably either to step down and leave some of these congregations because they're going to be in fearful of the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, you know. And the elect is going to come under the same umbrella. Right? If the 144,000 is singing a song that nobody else knows, you go to Revelations 14, verse 1 down. I mean, not Revelation 1, Salaki. Revelations 14, verse 1 down. And Revelation chapter 15, I believe, verse 1 to 4. Right? And of course, it's going to be the 1/3 that's going to believe in this ministry. Right? So drop down to verse 31. It says, let me read 30 and 31. It says, as for ye in times past have not believed, yet have now obtained mercy through their unbelief, right? So you got to think, the Gentiles was far off. But look at you, the southern kingdom, the Jews, they didn't believe either, you know? So we obtain this mercy through our unbelief because of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. We get to come back in this thing because of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Depending if the Lord is dealing with you. In the NLT it says, once you Gentiles were rebels against God, but when the people of Israel rebelled against Him, God was merciful to you instead, right? Because of the Jews rebelled against this ministry. It was given to us first, right? And so through the mercy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, It is giving to the Gentiles instead. But when you go up, I'm going to read verse 31, go to verse 1. It shows you that it's always a remnant still. Just because the southern kingdom didn't accept this salvation and faith in Yahweh, it doesn't mean all the southern kingdom. Romans 11:1, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Right? And he was a Pharisee of the Pharisees, teaching the law and persecuting the church. And the Lord blinded him, and he came back even harder through the faith in Yahweh. Right? Dropping down to 31. It says, even so have these also now not believed, that through your mercy they also may obtain mercy. Now, even if the Jews don't accept it, they're going to be able to come back through belief, right? And that's all. It's going to really be the mercy of Yahweh Hashem Al Shai if you come back in this thing. Like, it's mercy. A lot of us don't even deserve to be living, but the Lord allow you to breathe another day. Right now we have a fighting chance to come back into this faith, unless Yahweh draw you to Yahweh Shai. If he don't draw you to Yahweh Shai by the ushering in of the MOTB fully being affected, where people in the United States having it, the door is closed. The mercy door will be closed. Right? Reading the NLT, it says, now they are the rebels. The Most High's mercy has come to you, so that they too will share in God's mercy, right? All the 12 tribes are going to share in Yahweh Shema Shai's mercy, whoever they may be. This is all predestined for the elect to get it. The elect is going to get it. The elect is going to get it. Say it to yourself. The elect is going to get it. If you believe that, what are you doing? Make sure you believe in Yahweh Shema Shai. Make sure you're feeding the flock within your house. It's important, right? Now let's go to Acts, the 13th chapter, verse 42 in the KJV. It says, when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath, right? So the words that was taught to the Jews, even the Gentiles, the Gentiles were seeking, right? They thought that believed that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Let's go down to verse 6. It says, then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said, it was necessary that the word of the Most High should first have been spoken to you, right? Spoken to the Jews, because who is going to be the lawgiver? Judah. Who is going to be the head of this thing when it comes to this truth? Judah. Because Yahweh Shai comes from Judah, right? And because of David, right? It says, and it was necessary that the word of the Most High should first have been spoken to you. But seeing ye put it off from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles, right? And this is all the Lord. And then when you usher in us right now, a lot of us wasn't in the lot when we woke up and I'm a Jew. Oh, I'm from Naphtali. We didn't know. So really, we woke back up into this thing, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9 and 11. Ain't nothing new under the sun, but the things of old is like we don't remember. We have to get guided back into the scriptures. So a lot of us woke up into a Gentile mindset, or Gentile customs, doing holidays, doing this dumb 4th of July, right? I'm going to come back to Acts 13. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, because I want to make it clear, right? Verse 9, it says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of the former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Right? It's no remembrance of those things. This is why we have to get guided back into this. And really, we wake up into this society as having a Gentile mindset, right? Going to the Christianity church. Maybe we're Baptists, right? Now the Lord has cleansed us from that. Going back to verse 46. Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary that the word of God should first have been spoken to you, which was established over there when the apostles and prophets, when Yahushua was speaking to the southern kingdom, and they wasn't receiving it, but only the ones that Yahushua has chosen to teach, and some of the ladies and some of the men underneath them, but all as a whole didn't cleave. So Yahushua was getting the order to having those men go and teach to the Gentiles, really in the areas around about them, Acts 1 and 8, and to the uttermost part of the earth, which the northern kingdom was over here. A bulk of the northern kingdom didn't hear this truth because they was over in the United States. And of course, a few of them got deported to other countries. But they didn't have the truth here, right? And when the men of the Lord woke back, they were whitewashed over again because of this society, this captivity, right? So why it was necessary that the word of God should first have been spoken to you, but seeing ye put it from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles. For so have the Lord commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. Right? Especially when you go into Isaiah, when it goes into the gospel, I think it's Isaiah 61, right? We are supposed to be the light. I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles. Yahushua was a light to the ones that he was supposed to receive when he came here. And then, of course, when he was trying to build us up, learners of his work, when we actually became apostles, when he called us to be those prophets, we were supposed to be a light unto the Gentiles because Yahushua abide in us because we believe. Starting with the 144,000. This is why they're singing a song of Moses in the land, because they believe, right? That thou shouldest be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. And when the Gentiles heard this, they were glad and glorified the word of the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai, and as many as were ordained to eternal life believed, right? Whoever was chosen, right? Who was predestined. On our side, we don't know. We don't know until we get in the scriptures. But through the Spirit, you are already picked. A video game, before you play your game, you pick your player. He's selected, he's chosen. You didn't pick nobody else. So for us to come down, the Lord had to choose us before we came down here. You know, this is why the teachers was already established through the Spirit. This is Acts chapter 18, verse 6 in the KJV. It says, and when they opposed themselves and blasphemed, he shook his raiment and said unto them, your blood be upon your own heads. I am clean. From henceforth I will go unto the Gentiles. Let's read up a little. Right? Let me start. Let's just start at 1. It says, after these things Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain Jew named Coilla, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. And because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrote, for by their occupation they were tent makers. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. And when Silas and Timotheus were come from Macedonia, Paul was pressed in the spirit and testified to the Jews that Yahushua was Hamashiach. He was anointed. And when they opposed themselves in blasphemy, he shook his raiment and said unto them, your blood be upon your own heads. I am clean. From henceforth I will go to the Gentiles. Let's read it in NLT, verse 5. After Silas and Timothy came down from Macedonia, Paul spent all his time preaching the word. He testified to the Jews that Yahushua was the Messiah. Now, before I go, you see, Paul spent all his time preaching the word. This is why it's on the men of the Lord to teach. It's not on one day. The main thing is the men of the Lord is sent to the highways and byways. Then outside of that, the Lord created this unicorn so that even when you're not on the highways and byways, you can still bring out the ministry. Because there's babes out here that don't even know the milk, the parables, that they don't know the whole meaning of this truth. So we have to teach days in and days out. That's just beautiful. It says he testified to the Jews that Yahushua was the Messiah. He was the anointed. But when they opposed and insulted him, Paul shook the dust from off his clothes and said, "See, you kick the dust off your feet." I wonder where Jake got it in the song. Shake the dust off your shoulders. I forgot who made that song. You know what I'm saying? If they don't accept you, if they don't accept you in the home, in the street, kick the dust off your feet and then go to the next. Your blood is upon your own heads. I am innocent. From now on, I will go preach to the Gentiles. Right? Now, guess what that made me think of? Lord willing, it made you think of it too. And if not, it's okay. This is why we here. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. He said the blood is going to be on your hand. Where is he getting this mind from? Because they were studying and mastering the Old Testament from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees. Right? Your faith is going to let you know that is true, because right now, if you're truly in this, you're reading from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation, the same books that they had. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth. Give them warning from me. This is what Paul was giving to the Jews, because first they were sent to the Jews. Had to give them warning. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, thou givest him no warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. If Paul didn't say nothing, right? The Lord is going to require his blood and your blood, right? Verse 19, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. And this is what Paul did. He delivered his soul, but now that man, his blood is going to be required when Yahushua come back. Every time we do a video, every time we on the highways and byways, nobody is really trying to take heed to what's going on. The Lord is going to require the blood on your hands. When you try to tell your mother and your father, your cousin, just off of one little thing, maybe they ask a question, the blood is off your hands. But you see them doing something, you see brothers teaching this word, they get so offended. It's the same for me. If I'm going off, correct me. If you really love me, you're going to correct whatever was said so that I can have a fighting chance to fix it. You know, if you standing on the Lord's business, you out here to rebuke all nations, especially Jake. You know, we have to get in order. And Paul was really was rebuking them, but trying to edify him. And then they was black. They didn't accept it. So we kicked the dust off his feet. Oh, all right. You're gonna reap what you sow. You're gonna be a coulda, woulda, shoulda. You know. Let's go to Romans, the 10th chapter, verse 19 in the KJV. It says, but I say, did not Israel know? First Moses saith, I provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people, and by a foolish nation I will anger you. Right? Who is he talking about? Right? He's talking about the Gentiles. I was reading the NLT, but I asked, did the people of Israel really understand? Yes, they did. Or even in the time of Moses, God said, I will arouse your jealousy through people who are not even a nation. I will provoke your anger through the foolish Gentiles. Right? Who's the foolish Gentiles in this verse? These are Israelites. Just for your sake, let's look at it. Because, of course, HOI and other brothers want to use this for the other nations. How can the other nations get us jealous? They never as a whole followed our laws. follow the laws of Yahweh Shema Shai. As a nation, no nation, as a nation, a group of people have believed in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So who is this dealing with? Romans chapter 1, verse 21 and 22. Because that when they knew God, who knew God? They glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in the imagination, and their foolish hearts was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Who became fools? If the law was given to Israel, and we go into the history, this is why we go in the Old Testament. People be like, oh, they Old Testament, because it's the history on. For you to get to the New Testament, you have to know the history. The Northern Kingdom went off, starting with Rehoboam to Jeroboam, and kings and kings and kings. The Southern Kingdom went off too, but the Northern Kingdom was first, right? Who is he speaking about? All these verses is going into it, man. This is Jeremiah 10, verse 8. It says, but they are together brutish, stupid, and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanity. Every man is stupid, brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Right? 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Paul is speaking to Israelites. Dumb idols. Why would Paul be speaking to the other nations? If they believe in dumb idols, you know what I'm saying? That was better for the other nations, because the Lord was trying to establish himself in the nation of Israel. And we fell away from the Lord. Right? The nations was already dabbling in idols. The Lord was paying attention to Israel. The Lord removed the damn Hamites from their land. And he already said that they was defying the land with their belief and with their idols and in their blood. The homosexuality, they was already believing another deity. Nimrod, believing in a whole nother deity. So who was he talking to? He was talking to the people that he was for. He said, I am the God of Israel. So who went off? You know? We have to know. Let's just go to the 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. And let's see if they give us a correspondence. Right? Because in the New Testament, it goes to a whole nother direction. You know, it's not going, say, Northern Kingdom. And that's the beautiful part. In order for us to notice, you have to dig. The Lord has to guide you. And we can go throughout this whole Bible. You have to read 1st and 2nd Kings. You have to understand what happened. If you don't know that history, but to better yet, go to 2nd Kings, the 17th chapter. And you could just see that the Northern Kingdom got put out of Israel. Then you just backtrace and see how the Northern Kingdom, in the time of them being under Jeroboam, how the Northern Kingdom was pushed to believe in other idols. Jeroboam brought in the calf of Egypt and said, this is the calf that brought you out of Egypt. Falsely lying, you know. And then if you think about what the Northern Kingdom was doing in America, they was believing in a whole nother God, right? So this Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. I'm going to read an NLT. And if you see the screen, you can read in the KJV. I just want it plain and straight, direct to the point. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, don't forget that you Gentiles used to be outsiders. You were called uncircumcised heathens by the Jews, who were proud of their circumcision, even though it affected only their bodies and not their hearts. Right? Because yes, as a nation, we're supposed to get circumcised because we're really in the house of Abraham. We come from the loins of Abraham, and that was the oath, the covenant that the Lord made with Abraham. You know, he had to cut the foreskin, but that was to usher in Yahushai, because initially we supposed to cut off the foreskin of our hearts, right? So these outsiders, these Gentiles, these heathens are Israelites. First, the northern kingdom, right? Verse 12. In those days, you were living apart from a Mashiach. How can this be to the other nations? We're adding that in because first you have to know the history. How can Yahweh Shai die for all people and be for other nations when only this is? I'm gonna just close this point with just this. Yahweh Shai only died for the people that made a blood covenant with Yahweh, because Yahweh Shai's blood was the covering of us. That was the remission of sins by his blood. He even said, drink his blood, which was just initiating the covering for the covering of his blood, which ushers in the New Testament, the new covenant. Only Israel made a covenant with him as a nation. Again, verse 12. In those days you were living apart from a Mashiach. You were excluded from citizenship among the people of Israel. This is a fact. They got removed. You did not know the covenant promises the Most High had made to them. You lived in this world without God, without hope, because they turned their back, Jeremiah 32 and verse 33, just like the northern kingdom did. But now you have been united with Hamashiach Yahweh Shai through faith. Once you were far away from the Most High, but now you have been brought near to him through the blood of Hamashiach. For Hamashiach himself has brought peace to us. He united the Jews and the Gentiles into one people when in his own body on the cross he broke down the wall of hostility that separated us. How are we separated from them? Right? Because they started following the ways of the world and the ways of the nations when they was us. How can Israel be in unity with Gentiles when the other nations have a different culture, a different custom? You know, if Jews are Israelites, so you mean to tell me that Yahweh Shai is not going to other Israelites when Paul said, when he was speaking to his brethren, he was speaking to his kindred? How can Gentiles be his kindred or his brethren? Because he's talking about the flesh. Didn't he say you were Gentiles in the flesh? Because of the work that they was doing in the flesh. In the flesh. But in the spirit, when we look at the spirit, the chosen people had a promise through the spirit. Isaac it was Ishmael that was born. Through the flesh, he is the firstborn, but through the spirit, who was called through the promise? Isaac, not Ishmael, right? So this is about a chosen bloodline. So the chosen bloodline walked away and defiled itself with other beliefs. Now they became Gentiles, right? But let's go to the word. See, in verse 12, it says being alien from the commonwealth of Israel, being foreigners. Ethnos.
Strong's G 1484. Ethnos. Ethnos.
Ethnos. It's only going into when you see human family, you see a tribe, a nation, people group, right? Because a tribe, right, starting with the Ephraim, because he's the head of that. You know, when he went off, the rest went off. A nation. When you look at the northern kingdom, when you separate it, northern kingdom, southern kingdom, that is a nation, right? But when Yahweh Shai comes, he's going to bring those two sticks and make them one, which Israel is a people group. If the Gentiles comes from Jacob, these Gentiles, if we talking about the descendants of Jacob, and they fell off, they are part of this people group. In Old Testament, especially when we look through all the way from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, foreign nations not worshiping the true God, pagans, Gentiles. So if they went away through the flesh, walking like Gentiles, they were sacrificing the Baal, doing same sex, following the customs of the nation, following the customs of the Hamites, the Ammonites, the Amalekites, heathens just in general, right? Not worshiping the true God. And they were godless because they wasn't worshiping the true God, right? Paul uses the term for Gentile Christians, right? When we go down, ethnos is say a race, right? Now it say a race. It didn't say race is. So this is dealing with a race. So what particular race? The children of Israel, as of the same habit, a tribe, especially a foreign, not non-Jew, not Jewish, because there was no such thing as Jewish. Jewish means pertain to, like they tried to pertain to Jews, right? But guess what? When we go into this Gentile, it's really the northern kingdom, and the northern kingdom are not Jews. It really stems, the real Jews is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But some of the southern kingdom fell into a Gentile mind state. And that just brings in the children that's born and raised in the uttermost part of the earth in America. You know, just to get more deep, where we really, if you woke up and you were celebrating holidays, you were following pagan ways. Christmas, pagan ways. You were following customs of the heathen, right? It said Gentile, heathen, nation, people. But when you go into words, when it says Gentiles, most cases it would be nations, right? Because you have different meanings for Gentiles. You have the physical Gentiles, and you have Gentiles which will pertain to an Israelite, right? Off of them not serving the true God, right? But we could go a little deeper on the word Gentile, because the elders always push getting into the words and the etymology of words. People get it mixed depending on the content. But in this content, this is dealing with a tribe. This is dealing with a people group, right? When we go into the content of it, this is not talking about these other nations as Gentiles. He's talking about Israelites as nations, because they was not worshiping the true God. Make it all make sense. Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, the law was only given to Israel. The northern kingdom walked away from those laws, started serving other gods, start doing their own thing, right? So now that we finished that, let's go back to Romans. I'm going to try to move a little quicker. Romans chapter 11, we go into verse 13 and 14. It says, "For I speak to you Gentiles, and as much as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation, which is jealousy, them which are my flesh, and might save some of them." In the NLT, verse 14, "For I want somehow to make the people of Israel jealous, the southern kingdom, of what you Gentiles have, so I might save some of them." He's talking about so that he might save some of the Jews, right? So he wants to make some of the Jews jealous, because he's going to you to teach this word. And you know, we mostly do, I call it clickbaiting. You know, we do certain things to clickbait to have Jake watch a video. And that's smooth, you know. But let me read 15 in the NLT. It says, "For since their rejection meant that the Most High offers salvation to the rest of the world, their acceptance will be even more wonderful. It will be life for those who were dead." Now I know a Christian would say, wait, salvation was given to the whole world. It's because Israel was scattered 4 quarters of the earth. When you read Titus, I believe, Titus, the first chapter, the first verse. Let me just go to it. I believe it's Titus chapter 1, the first verse. No, sorry, it's James chapter 1, the first verse. This is James. It says, "James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting." Why he ain't say to the other nations? He's talking about Israel straight direct, to Israel that's scattered abroad. James is an Israelite. We're gonna just move on. Move on. Romans chapter 11, verse 21. It says in the KJV, "For if the Most High spared not the natural branches," which I just explained, if anybody was listening, the natural branches is the southern and the northern kingdom. He did not spare the northern kingdom. He kicked them off the land, let alone they was removed from their inheritance, right? "Take heed lest he also spare not thee," right? So the same with the Jews. And then it goes vice versa for the whole 12 tribes, right? If he didn't spare the natural branches, how much more us now, right? All praise to the Most High that we is in this thing. Going back to 17, it says, and if some of the branches be broken off, like we've been explaining, and thou be a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in the fatness of the olive tree. So again, these same Gentiles have to be part of the root, right? What it says, they have to be partakers of the root, right? Going in the NLT. But some of these branches from Abraham's tree, that olive tree, which was righteous in that side, because the Lord said Abraham was faithful in his eyes, some of some of the some of the people of Israel have been broken off because of unbelief. And you Gentiles were branches of the wild olive tree, which was off, have been grafted in, so now you also receive the blessing the Most High has promised Abraham and his children, sharing in the rich nourishment from the root of the Most High special olive tree. How is it special? Because it's called a chosen seed, a chosen bloodline, from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob. Jacob's 12 patriarchs and the descendants from their 12 sons. No other nation is from that chosen bloodline unless an Israelite put a seed in them, right? Dropping down to verse 19. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. A lot of us is getting grafted back into this faith because back then our unbelief, you know, but really starting with the elect 144,000, they were already in this. They were always in this. They were already called to be in this, you know. So now let's go to Romans, the 8th chapter, verse 32. In the KJV, this is what it says. It says, he that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Right? If he didn't spare his son, Isaiah chapter 53, I believe, verse 12, or is it 6? He smitten his own son. You know, this was good in Yahweh's eye because he had a purpose. Reading the NLT, it says, since he did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all. He died for who? The 12 tribes that reject him. He wasn't for the nation. Y'all wish I said even his own people rejected him. Even in your own city, a prophet is not accepted in his own house, right? Won't he also give us everything else? Who dare accuse us, whom the Most High has chosen for his own? No one. For the Most High himself has given us right standing with himself, right? He chosen for his own. Who is his own? The children of Israel. I just want to get that. I know he gotta be in here. Salaki family. Look at that. Luke chapter 18, verse 7. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? Wait, let's go to this. Let's see if we get a correspondent in this one too. Who he's gonna avenge his elect. He do say vengeance is his. Who is his elect? Yeah, that's a good one. Damn, see, they showing David. David's an Israelite. They showing kings. They showing Samuel. Oh yeah, they talking about Israelites. You see it plainly, right? Right. Here we go. This makes it even plain. Revelation chapter 18, verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her. We can go to other scriptures. Who were apostles, who were prophet, what nation they came from? Israelites. Israelites. Hold on. Let's go to another old classic, Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. And I'll read KJV and NLT. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying," this is plain. So the Lord is only dealing with the children that he brought out of Egypt as a nation wise. Even if they got dispersed, or even if they had a mindset of Gentiles or heathen, eventually it's going to come a time, because Revelation chapter 7 has to be fulfilled, especially for the 144,000. The whole 12 tribes is going to be 144,000 of men that are going to be the elect, not only the southern kingdom, the whole 12 tribes, plus the great multitude. After that, it's going to be a mixture of the whole 12 tribes, right? Verse 2, it says, "You only have I known of all the families of the earth, out of all the 18 nations, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities," right? Can we walk together except they be agreed? That goes back to when we were in First Kings, Second Kings, First Chronicles, Second Chronicles, so you can understand the history of the southern and northern kingdom, right? We were against each other. Can we walk together except we agree? That's why the Lord separated the northern kingdom from the southern. We couldn't agree, let alone within the Jews. They can't agree. Even with the northern kingdom, they couldn't agree. The Lord deals with order, right? Now let's read it in the NLT. Verse 1. "Listen to this message that the Lord Yahweh has spoken against you, O people of Israel and Judah." O people of Israel, that's the northern kingdom. "In Judah, the southern kingdom, against the entire family I rescue from the earth." That's why he broke it down so you can understand. He saved the southern and northern kingdom. When we got out of Egypt, that's when he solidified and gave the understanding. This is the southern kingdom and this is the northern kingdom. Let alone when Saul was king, he was king over the southern and northern kingdom. David, southern and northern kingdom. Solomon, southern and northern kingdom. When Solomon died, it got divided because it was prophesied to David that, the kingdom would be given to somebody that's not his heir, which was Jeroboam. Rehoboam had the southern kingdom, right? So beautiful. Verse 2, "From among all the families on the earth, I have been intimate with you alone." So when we go back to the first verse, the northern kingdom, southern kingdom, Israel and Judah, he was only intimate with alone. That is why I must punish you for all your sins. We technically sin. We really sin because what is sin? Transgression the law. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. I'm not going to get it. You can go get it. Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. Second Ezra chapter 3, verse 34 to 36. Go read it. Go read it. The law was only given to Jacob and Israel, right? His servants, right? Out of all nations, who kept thy precepts? And his name is only found in Israel. Who kept the precepts? Only Israel. No nation, only individuals out of nations was somewhat keeping our customs. Go read those verses for yourself. Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. Second Ezra chapter 3, verse 34 to 36. Verse 3. Can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction? If we can't agree, we can't walk that direction. Sorry. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, we almost about to close. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. We're going to read verse 4 in the KJV all the way to 9. It says, "For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell," talking about Israel, right? Because we fell from our estate, "but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness, this flesh, to reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly," which he's going to flood this place with nukes, "and turning the city of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemning them with an overthrow, making them a sample unto those that after shall live ungodly." Right? Sodom and Gomorrah was the high standard of an example in Egypt. They got destroyed. Really, the people got destroyed in Egypt, but the place and the people, 5 provinces got destroyed. And that's beautiful. 5 provinces in Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. It's 5. You add a 5 and a 0 to America, it's 5 states in the United States that will be destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah because of the ungodliness of Israel and you other nations that's in America, starting with you little small little hats, Edomites that think that you ruling something in this place, which you're not. Really, the elite is. You're just a puppet, a pawn in this thing to fulfill their little purpose that they have. Verse 7, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Noah, he was a savior and he was an elect at that time. Lot, he was an elect and a savior at that time when you really look at his family. He's a leader. He's a savior for his family, you know. And this is what the Lord is going to do. Only a few left out of Sodom and Gomorrah, even if Abraham was playing, if it was 50, if it was 40, if it was 30, only a remnant. With Noah, only a remnant. And the Lord only need a few to repopulate the earth. For that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing and vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Right? Lot was vexed. I bet you Noah was vexed. They didn't want to hear it. They thought he was a fool. Verse 9. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation. Right? What is that? Revelations 3 and 10. He's going to deliver you out of the hour of temptation. The hour of temptation was in Noah's time. Right? All that time he built in that ark. He didn't fold, he didn't fall, but he had faith. It never rained at that time. Right? But the Lord made it rain. He had faith. You know? So it's a lot. The elect is going to see. They're going to have to intake. Mockery, being scoffed. I've been trying to plant that in my mind because, you know, we get angry. As soon as somebody going against you, get angry. No, forget that. Take it with cheer. And if they don't accept you, get up and move. Verse 9 again. And the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Right? Your day is marked. And Lord willing, I'm going to title this, You Reap What You Sow. You know? You reap what you sow. If you're not trying to get this, you're going to reap what you sow. Let's close out with this. This is Jude chapter 1 and verse 5. But I'm going to have to read verse 6 because what we read in Peter, you know, those angels are Israelites that fell from their first estate, especially when you look at the rulership. Starting with Adam, we fell. Now we have to die like man. And then from David to Solomon, we fell even more. We're not even in our land. We kicked out of our land. We fell from our first estate. We fell from our first love, the knowledge and wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai, but we're getting it back in the land of our captivity. Jude 1 and 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, we once knew the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Shema Shai. We once knew the faith. We once knew the history. How that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, we used to remember this like it was hotcakes, right? But we forgot. You tell Jake, they say that they know, but you don't really know because it's not drawing you to read again. It's not drawing you to teach your children, which is a law, right? Afterward, destroy them that believe not. It's going to happen again. Right? Moses came down from Mount Sinai and destroyed the tablets, and he got mad, and the earth swallowed some. It was more death. Before we got into the land, the Lord had Caleb and Joshua and everybody that was under 20 years of age. But most of them people didn't even know the ways of the Lord because every time a generation grew, they did not know the ways and the miracles of the Lord. Let's see why. Because they probably didn't have righteous teachers, you know. I'm going to call them seducers. What is that? 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 13. Is going to wax seducers and deceivers. And seducers are imposters. It's people faking the funk, trying to say that the Hebrew Israelites are prophets or apostles. They're faking the funk. They're going to die in their unbelief. Right? Verse 6. And the angel which kept not their first estate, but left their own inhabitation, he have reserved an everlasting chain under darkness unto the judgment of the great day, right? Ever since that, even all the way from Adam, we left our first estate. Now we're in a change of darkness. We got to always come back and die again. We got to come back and die again. We got to come back under the sun in a place of judgment again. We have to be in a change of darkness, this flesh again. You getting cancer, you getting sick, you getting mucus, right? You the plague of the mind, right? Your wife is not safe. A brother is hollering at her, regardless whatever she wear. Let alone your wife, her emotions is not right. She can't control it. Just because a girl like you or you like a girl, your brother gotta run back and tell her like we're broken down. And it's really because we truly don't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're always trying to fight his knowledge. We're always trying to think we know more than him. We don't know more than him, especially when it comes to your life. Your life was given to you, you know? So we need to get back into praising and obeying the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, I'm going to title this video, Romans 11, you reap what you sow if you do not believe. You reap what you sow if you do not believe. With that, Shalom.